Today, be queen or king for a day, from a tea room fit for royalty in Shawnee to luxurious lodging in Muskogee and a peek inside the monarchy in Kingfisher.
Travel with AAA's Discover Oklahoma.
Hi, and welcome to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I'm Jennifer Reynolds.
And I'm Dean O'Lally. Today we're coming to you from the Grangeville Rose Tea Room in Shawnee.
And this is the perfect place to be for this show because it's all about being king or queen for a day. And when you come here, you're going to feel like royalty.
I walked in and I knew that I was going to love this place, that's for sure. And I have to tell you, the reviews on this place have been incredible.
People say it's like walking in and stepping into a Dickens novel.
Well, hopefully when they enter those doors, they'll have a surprise because the outside of our building is not exactly like the interior. And they will experience a welcoming spirit, I believe, and we like to make people feel very comfortable.
I almost defy you not to feel comfortable in the Grangeville Rose Tea Room. It just feels homey. Even if it's not the home you grew up in, it feels like the home of somebody you once loved to visit.
We try to delight people with a touch of the past, maybe having lunch in their grandmother's dining room or their great aunt's dining room or something of long ago, just to bring that back to them, and so that they can feel the passion of civility and niceties that maybe they don't get to have every day.
Named for the sprawling ranch house where Cynthia grew up, the tea room was inspired by her mother's approach to homemaking and entertaining.
She could make a party out of anything. And, you know, between her gardening and her family and cooking, it was just a flurry of activity all the time.
Starched linens and polished silver, cherished china, even if it was a little worn, all came out for entertaining. And Cynthia wants to share that lovely, old-fashioned approach to dining.
I think that people crave this. I think that people want this. It's something that I'm pleased to be able to share. We have groups of families that come in, and the parents sit the children down at the table and they say, look, this is, you know, knives and spoons go on the right and forks on the left, and the children are, you know, enthralled by it. I think they like niceties, and I think that they crave that too, the training. And
you'll have to use all your training and your willpower not to just dive headfirst into the offerings here. I have to say the desserts I tasted, the chocolate mousse and the lemon tart, were as good as any I've ever had anywhere. The tomato soup was delicious, and the chicken Waldorf salad was tangy and satisfying.
My nephew Brian is our pastry chef and my business partner, and he outdoes himself. We feature Bingley's teas here, and they're some of the finest loose leaf teas I've ever enjoyed. So they can partake of that, and the music is playing, and you just relax with your friends and enjoy the food, and you're waited on hand and foot. You know, you want for nothing. We love to spoil people.
Add in wonderful service, chamber music, and the quiet murmur of the other guests, and it's just a lovely break from the fast and furious world out there. And this is just an average lunch. Once a month, there's high tea and live English country music.
To delight and inspire is my motto, and that's what we try to do.
Now from an elegant tea room such as this place to a location that, well, it could have been the governor's mansion.
It's a great story about a wealthy businessman from Muskogee who wanted to be the first governor of Oklahoma back when we became a state in 1907.
Needless to say, he did not win, but he did build this beautiful home that he envisioned as being the first governor's mansion, but now it's a very popular, well-known location where you can be treated to an upscale, luxurious stay that's fit for a king or a queen.
Or a governor.
The Hayes House is a perfect base from which to explore Muskogee and the surrounding areas. This elegant and extremely comfortable home is decorated in a style that could be called country French and Victorian. Owners James and Janine Holder are often asked about the decor and where the furniture came from. The answer often surprises the guests.
Most all the furniture was 45 years of marriage. It's what we just bought, we actually didn't buy antiques for the most part. We bought used furniture and kept it long enough to where it was an antique. We tried to buy nice things that looked good, and then over the course of years, we as a couple began to buy antiques and fell in love with that.
And their customers appear to fall in love with the Hayes House when they stay here. Celebrating wedding anniversaries is a common theme.
We have a continental breakfast, and if they want a full breakfast, then they can have that. They can have massages. We have romantic dinners. That if they want to do that, they can, they can schedule that. And so it's just really nice. And we have a lot of people come and celebrate their anniversaries here. In fact, they've come year after year to celebrate an anniversary.
People also stay to celebrate birthdays. Now, if you want to have your wedding at the historic Hayes House, well, they can take care of that too. The house has a couple of immaculately decorated sitting rooms, but of course the 2 elegant suites with all the comforts of home are what will cast a spell on you. They are an oasis of calm and relaxation, and the names of the suites reflect a little bit of Oklahoma history.
We named them from Mr. Hayes, who built the house. He wanted to be the first governor of Oklahoma in 1907. And so we named the bigger suite the Governor's Suite and the smaller suite the First Lady's Suite. Both of them have fireplaces, both of them have the same amenities. It's just the Governor's Suite's a little bigger because, of course, he needed a bigger size. So in that regard, we have the finest mattresses, we have goose down pillows, goose down comforters. We try very best to do something that people would not get at home, just because they can buy them. But I mean, we go out of our way to do something elaborate so that when they come here, they think, okay, we're being pampered.
Style, class, sophistication, relaxing accommodations, delicious gourmet meals, and a little bit of history. All these reasons and much more make up the historic Hayes House Luxury Suites in Muskogee.
Well, go ahead and dust off your tiara if you haven't done it just yet, because we have lots more destinations fit for a king or a queen.
A little bit later, another luxurious place. This one's going to be in Tulsa.
I sense diamonds coming their way.
You would be right.
We're also going to visit a honey of a place in Guthrie where the kings and queens have wings.
But next, guess what? We're going to get personal. We're going to go to a place where there's a collection of objects touched by royalty,
including historic artifacts from the longest running reign in the British monarchy, when AAA's Discover Oklahoma returns.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving, and found out they could save us money too, and so we ended up switching. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600. Any money you can save during the month and have some left over, that's a pretty big deal. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Want to get away? Oklahoma road trips are fuel for the soul. To get your motor running, visit TravelOK.com for brochures, inspiration, and loads of savings. A few clicks will put you on the open road to adventure. At TravelOK.com/road trips, it's easy to find a getaway that moves you. We've reinvented the road trip. Come along for the ride.
Approximately a year and a half ago, my friend Gary Wise, who I go to church with, had become a AAA agency, and he had asked me, he said, let's just check, see what we can do.
We tried to compare apples to apples to his current coverage.
And my premium went down $800 for the same insurance for this house. I was tickled. I mean, $800 is a lot of money. Go see Gary. Get your AAA insurance. It's head and shoulders above the rest of the companies.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma. I generally don't consider myself to be a very high maintenance person, but this idea of being treated as a king or queen, be able to get used to it.
It is pretty nice. In fact, if you go to Kingfisher next month, you can see just how kings and queens live with an insider's look at the British monarchy, and it's all thanks to a special exhibit at the Chisholm Trail Museum there.
The idea of royal artifacts inside of a museum dedicated to cattle trail culture might seem sort of out of place, but our show Wagner says when you see the exhibit, it seems perfect.
The influence of the British monarchy extended far beyond their borders, all the way to Kingfisher, Oklahoma. At the Chisholm Trail Museum and Sea Mansion, you don't have to look far to find that royal influence. Victorian architecture shaped the Sea Mansion, built in 1892, for territorial royalty of sorts.
Governor C had this mansion built in anticipation that one day Kingfisher would be the capital. Obviously it never happened, but we still have the wonderful, beautiful mansion to show.
There's also a Victorian-era village on the museum grounds, but the British monarchy has never had a larger presence here than it does right now. That's because a world-class collection of royal artifacts has found its way here. The reason this exhibit is in Kingfisher instead of the Smithsonian is all thanks to the collector's hometown spirit.
I grew up in Kingfisher. I went to school here from 1st grade to 12th grade. I have family and friends still here. And the museum and this mansion, Sea Mansion, very fond of it. In 1981, the royal wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer occurred. I was still living here in Kingfisher and went to a local grocery store and purchased a magazine after the wedding. That was my very first piece.
And he was hooked. From there, the collection continued to grow and expand.
Queen Victoria is the centerpiece. However, we have documents that were written by George III all the way through Elizabeth II. And so we also have artifacts that were from Princess Diana and Charles.
The robes, the ceremonial robes, those are neat. It gives you a sense of what they would have worn at official state functions, primarily coronations.
There's even a piece of actual wedding cake from Prince Charles and Princess Diana's wedding.
The cake is still in there. It's almost solidified. It's almost become fossilized.
The cake now looks sort of like a bar of soap, and when you take the lid off the box, it has a sweet, pungent odor. Not at all mouthwatering. I won't be asking for the recipe. But this exhibit is a recipe for sparking interest in British culture. And through the end of this month, rubbing elbows with royals is literally a piece of cake. At the Chisholm Trail Museum and Sea Mansion in Kingfisher, I'm Shel Wagner.
Coming up in a bit, a trip to Guthrie to have some royal honey. We'll explain.
And still to come, diamonds are in order at a special place in Tulsa. But next up, we'll take you to a world-famous ballroom. Stay with us as AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues in about 2 minutes.
We had some family members that had switched to AAA, and they kept telling us how much money they were saving and kept telling us that we should look into it. And so we decided that we should go see what we could do. We have 3 kids, and there's not a lot of money left at the end of every month. And so any penny that you can save is a big deal. AAA was something I always heard of when I was growing up. And when people talked about it, they talked about it in a reliable way. And so when we switched to AAA, it was something that we just trusted from the beginning. It ended up saving us quite a bit. Our car insurance alone saved us probably about $600 a year. Our life insurance, we were actually able to double our coverage, and our premium still went down close to about half as well. Again, it's not something you ever want to think about as you grow up and become a grown-up with a family, but it's definitely something that you need to have. Having insurance is important. Having affordable insurance that you can trust is a blessing.
Welcome back to AAA's Discover Oklahoma, on the road seeking those destinations that make you feel like royalty.
Now, when you think of royalty, you might think of a ballroom, and in Tulsa, there's a ballroom that is known worldwide as an historic music venue.
In fact, it was the king of Western swing, Bob Wills, who helped put Cain's Ballroom on the map, and that's why it's still called today the house that Bob Wills built. The sounds of Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys still echo through the Cain's Ballroom at least once a year when the venerable music venue hosts a birthday party for him that brings in fans from everywhere.
The people that come from Europe, that come from Texas, that come from the coasts, the 70, 80, and 90-year-old people that show up in their country and western outfits and two-step to the music and swing the music, it just does something to you that you can't describe. That's something I didn't know.
Jim Rogers is a Tulsa neurosurgeon who didn't know that because he'd never really listened to the Twin Fiddles of Western Swing, made famous at the Cain's, or danced a step on the historic maple floor here till after he decided to buy it. Dr. Rogers heard the dilapidated ballroom was for sale in 2002. 3 days later, he and his wife Alice and sons Chad and Hunter were in the music and renovation business.
My mom was like, whoa, this needs a lot of work, you know, and we all knew that right off the bat walking in. It needed a lot of work. You know, there were buckets all over the floor catching water that was dripping through, and the part of the ceiling had fallen through. And there hadn't been a lot of things that had been done here over the past couple of years. I mean, prior to us buying it in '02. So my dad was, though, very, you could just see a grin form on his face.
I walked in here and realized that this place needed some love, it needed some safety, it needed some cleaning up, and I thought, what a nice gift for our family to give to Tulsa was to make this again the shining star that it had been before.
You don't always get a chance to buy history.
No, you don't, not very often, and that was something that we were very excited about.
The Rogers family affectionately restored the Canes to its pre-war heyday and have since hosted major name artists along with lesser-known acts, continuing a Canes tradition of bringing to Tulsa some of music's best and sometimes worst.
The Mark Farners of Grand Funk that's been here, the Todd Rundgrens that's been here, the Bob Dylans. One experience I'll never forget is picking up Robert Plant at the airport and bringing him to the Canes in our car.
Chad's highlight came the day Wilco arrived for the group's first show here, and frontman Jeff Tweedy walked into his office.
He walks in the office and is like, hey man, my name's Jeff. I'm like, you don't have to tell me who you are. I know who you are. And you know, he shakes my hand. It's like, man, it's a pleasure to be here. Man, this is a beautiful venue. This is great, you know.
If you're looking for Canes memorabilia, there's now a boutique in Brookside named for the Bob Wills hit Ida Red. And they're working on a museum that'll feature some of what's on the walls of the front office, along with other Tulsa music artifacts. Still, it's out under the ballroom's barrel roof that Canes' history and memories best live on.
A man and a wife that stopped in from California, and they said, well, we met under this star out here. Can we go out there? And you know, I actually turned the lights on for them. And they were out there holding hands, you know, and it was almost brought a tear to my eye. I mean, it's neat to see things like that, though.
Oh, that Canes magic. Something every Oklahoman should experience at least once. We're going to take a quick break if you'll pour me a little bit more tea. Dino, thank you so terribly much. But don't run off.
After a short break, it's Diamonds in Tulsa. At the Renaissance, in fact, Anna Queen Bee is happy at this location in Guthrie. We'll take you there when AAA's Discover Oklahoma continues right after this.
In early April of this year, we had one of the most violent hailstorms I've ever seen in my life. And my wife called me, and you could hear the noise over the telephone. By the time I got home, got out here from town, there was hail everywhere, baseball, size hail, golf ball everywhere. My truck was beat to pieces. It was a pretty violent hailstorm. I called my AAA agent, Gary Wise, a friend of mine, asked him what the procedure was, give me the phone numbers, we need to turn this in.
We hope to always be there whenever they need us, and that is the most important client that we have, is the one that we're talking to at the time.
I feel AAA has treated me with the utmost respect. I feel like they went above and beyond to be respectful of our time and our property.
AAA definitely is there for the right reason. The president of the insurance company called and asked, you know, what could they do to help Woodward and help our clients in their time of need.
Welcome back. AAA makes this show possible and does a lot of other great things around our state.
In fact, recently we've been highlighting various hotels and restaurants that have received the prestigious AAA Four Diamond Award, hotels and restaurants that really go above and beyond for their customers.
This week we feature one of those winners, the Renaissance Tulsa Hotel and Convention Center.
The Renaissance Tulsa Hotel and Convention Center is celebrating its 10th year in service. Needless to say, management was thrilled and very excited to learn they were receiving the AAA Diamond Award.
We take a lot of pride in it, that it shows that we've taken care of our customers to a high level of satisfaction, that the condition and the cleanliness of our hotel are second to none. and that our customer service is consistently ranked the best.
Service is the #1 priority here. Not only can they take care of customers and clients with first-class accommodations, but the adjoining convention center also provides first-rate meeting space regardless if the groups are large or small. As for the rooms, they are all comfortable and tremendously accommodating, equipped with all the top amenities.
We have 300 rooms. We have really 4 primary room types. We have our presidential suite. We have 3 hospitality suites, and then we have each corner of the hotel has 2-room suites as well.
There's a new menu at the Cypress Grill, and Marlowe's Bar has a large selection of liquors and wines. The indoor pool is very inviting, as is the workout room. And the old saying, location, 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 is very true.
Mr. Hammonds loved the city of Tulsa, has done a number of philanthropic things in the city of Tulsa, and to be able to put such a nice building into the city, a lot of individual flares when you look around the cowhide back of some of the furniture. If you look in our guest rooms, you'll see some of the intricate detail, horseshoe handles on our furniture, artwork that's very indigenous to the city. So we take a lot of great pride in the history of Tulsa and being able to showcase it here in our hotel.
Congratulations to the Renaissance Tulsa Hotel and Convention Center for being the recipient of the AAA 4-Diamond Award.
AAA for the ones who matter most to you.
Well, you could say our next destination is just buzzing with all kinds of excitement.
Cripple Creek Farms in Guthrie is a place where the honey flows like honey.
That's right. In fact, our own Queen Bee, executive producer Shel Wagner, found out that this is a sweet location.
Cripple Creek Farms began innocently enough.
We wanted some bees to pollinate a garden with, so we found a couple of hives.
Randy and Teresa Brady both have careers away from the farm, so they figured while they were away at work, the bees could work the vegetable patch. They never expected that these tiny insects would become such a big part of their lives.
Once I got them, I just couldn't stay out of them, and they're just so fascinating.
Now their farm near Guthrie is all abuzz, with stacks and stacks of hives, extracting and filtering equipment, and rivers of the sweet, golden, sticky stuff. It became apparent that this operation was much too captivating to keep to themselves, so the Bradys decided to share it with others as an agritourism destination. I was looking forward to entering the secret world of bees, the species that holds on their feet the very survival of the human race. But then again, there's that little issue of the stinger. I come from a long line of flying insect fraidy cats, but Teresa and Randy assured me that this very fashion-forward bee suit would keep me safe.
A lot of people are afraid of them just because they've probably been stung by a wasp or a bumblebee or something like that, and they just associate all bees together. And the honeybee really is pretty docile.
Lately, the whole world has gone gaga for bees. From the renewed interest in the age-old health claims about honey and the grow-your-own-food movement, to concern over headlines about the mysterious colony collapse phenomenon. We need honeybees. They're responsible for pollinating 1/3 of our natural food supply.
And that really doesn't even take into consideration the pollination of the plants that go into forage that feed the animals that we ultimately eat.
Because honey is all natural, nothing added, nothing in there that the bug didn't make, you can literally take honey from the hive to the bottle.
Oh, that was perfect.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah. All you're doing is scratching that cap loose so the honey can come out.
It's a sticky job.
It is sticky. But when you're done, you get to lick your fingers. Smell the honey coming out of
Yes, it smells wonderful. Look at all that beautiful honey. Besides the delicious honey, Cripple Creek Farms and the bees also make beeswax candles, lotion bars, creamed honey, and lots of other great products. Look for them at the Edmond Farmers Market, Red Dirt Emporium in Oklahoma City's Bricktown, or like me, you can make arrangements to buzz by the farm for the full experience. At Cripple Creek Farms in Guthrie, I'm Shel Wagner.
That's our show for this week. We hope you've enjoyed being king or queen for a day, and a special thank you goes to the folks here at the Grangeville Rose Tea Room in Shawnee for hosting us.
This is a beautiful place, and we're getting ready to dive into some scones and
Can
fruit.
I give you a little jelly?
Please, a little jelly, please. And we want to thank you very much for watching.
Next week, we'll take a look at the art of reinvention. We'll tell you about an unusual meat market that's now a unique dining experience. Hope you'll join us.
So until next time, remember,
there's always something to discover in Oklahoma.
There you go. Thank you.
Production vehicle provided by the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, official partner of the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department.